These should always be earned. Hey team, Master Schiele here. Today I want to discuss the importance of earning your belt. Let's get started. So, when it comes to martial arts, especially modern day martial arts, belts are a big deal. And sometimes we kind of get so caught up in the belt testing and earning it that we really forget what it's all about and the purpose of the belts. So here is my take on that. I'm a huge believer in anything that you don't put the work in, you don't deserve, right? Participation trophies are not a great thing. Participation belt is not a great thing. In fact, when I have a student start, when I have the little ones start, I have a worksheet that they have to do before I give them the first belt. They'll have a uniform with no belt. And when they finish that worksheet, I'll actually present them with their belt. With my adults, I take them through a very hard class, and after that hard class, I will present their belt to them in front of the class. Because again, that first belt needs to be earned as well as every other one's. Here's the importance with this. When you truly earn something, now you feel that pride, you feel that sense of accomplishment. When you just do the bare minimum, it's not enough, and it doesn't leave a lasting impression. So here's a couple things that really happen when we're looking at earning these. And I'm holding a black belt up, and I do have awesome videos on that, which are a completely different subject because black belt's a whole different level, but I'm just talking belts in general. So here's a couple things that are important to understand when it comes to you earning your belts. Number one is your time requirement. There is a certain amount of time that you need, and you need to talk to your instructor about that. At our school, you need at least twice a week, but in order to get your next belt. If you don't have the proper amount of time, you're showing us that you just really aren't training, you're not putting the work in. So time is a very, very important part of the belt process. The next important part is maybe you have the time in there, but you just don't understand the material. If you don't understand the material, you are not ready for your next belt. Remember, the belt is supposed to be this marking point of where you are in your journey. And if you don't understand the material, it doesn't matter what art, doesn't matter if you're karate, jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, it doesn't matter, because what happens is it's about you earning that position, right? And if you don't have the right material and knowledge for that position, you're not ready for it. So, time, knowledge. Here's the last part. You might have the time, you might have the knowledge, but you also have to believe in yourself. And that's the truth. And that's an internal conversation you have to have with yourself. What I always say is, look at yourself, think about it. Do you really feel that you put everything you could to get this next belt? Or just kind of put the minimum work in, right? Did you just put just enough work to get it? Now, if that's the case and it's coming close to a belt test, that's is something you want to talk to your instructor and see maybe they can give you some ideas and some things to help you, right? And that's what I always say. If you're my student, reach out to me because I'm going to give you some things, if you have those two requirements, just to take yourself to that next level. Because remember, it's about your growth, right? But you have to have that conversation with yourself. If you don't have that conversation with yourself, you really you're not being honest, right? So that's a time you just sit down a couple minutes and say, did I put everything I possibly could in this testing cycle? And if not, what can you do right now to finish strong, okay? Finish it strong. Only thing that matters is the win at the end of the game, right? Doesn't matter how let's pretend it's a football game, right? Doesn't matter how bad you did in the first 3 quarters, as long as in the last quarter, you step it up and you win the game. So if there's still time, you can still win that game in your belt training, right? Just make sure you earn it. That's the key. Last thing I'd like to talk about is the importance of having that relationship with your instructor. I have a lot of people in the school, and throughout the years, I've trained thousands and thousands of different students. You name it, I've most likely seen it. And what happens is I see different ones that, some people just kind of coast through. I see some people that really put almost all the effort in, all the work in, and that's like the A-type student, right? And I have some students that just don't believe in the belt process. And here's the truth. Every part of the program that we put together is made to make you a fantastic and a proper martial artist. If you don't believe in the system and you don't fully dedicate yourself to the system, you're only hurting yourself. And I want you to remember that, right? Someone like me, I've dedicated my life to martial arts. I started when I was 7, never stopped teaching. In fact, this is what I've always done, and I've been blessed enough to do that. So there is a process that needs to happen for you to get your belts, for you to earn that belt. And sometimes if you say, you know what, I don't believe in the belts and I'm just not gonna test. Well, you're not applying yourself to the process, so you're not gonna see the results that you're really hoping for. Even if those results are just fitness, here's the truth with that. If it's just fitness or just something fun to do, guess what? There becomes a point that it just doesn't become fun anymore because you're not putting the effort in. See, belt testing gives us that effort, right? It puts a little pressure on us so we can grow. And then it puts a little bit more pressure on us so we can grow. And it keeps doing this over the course of our training. So this way, by the time we're a black belt, you really become an expert level. That's the whole goal of it, right? Get yourself to that next level. Remember, the first time you did a push-up, what happened? You probably struggled with it, unless you were super strong. But I know, I see lots of push-ups. And most people, when they do a push-up for the first time, they're not strong with it. And they might be able to do 1, and then they do 2, and then they can do 25, and then they can do 50. Guess what? There becomes a point when you can do 50 push-ups, and you do 1 push-up, it's not enough, right? If you just do 1 push-up like you did at the beginning, it doesn't have the same effect on you. It's like, why did I do that? Because I can do 50 easy, right? So being able to push yourself, that's part of the program too. Constantly earning, constantly growing. Remember, I say this a lot, but we're trees, right? If a tree stops growing, it dies. I hope this video was helpful. Please subscribe, please like it, and I will see you in our next one. Take care.